Hello, and welcome back to the channel, and welcome to part 3 of my epic battleship painting. Now, today I've been working on this ship here in the distance, which is coming on quite nicely. So we're almost there, so enjoy watching part 3 and me painting and talking my usual random nonsense. So without further ado, let's do some painting. Hello, welcome back to the channel. Now this is part 3 of my sort of battleship World War One scene. Over the weekend, it's been a couple of days, I've painted that one, which is another battleship, which turned out quite nicely. Just a quick practice I did one night when I couldn't sleep. So that's that. So it has dried a touch, so yeah, it'd be quite nice to go over it. The plan today is I'm just going to build up the ship a bit better, just add a bit more paint onto that, another layer, and perhaps put a ship over here as well, a bit further away probably. So yeah, that is the plan. We'll do that. So yeah, I'll get my palette cam set up, briefly show you what's on my palette, which is literally 3 colours. If you want to see part 1 and 2, I will link it in the description. So palette cam will be set up in just a second, and I'll see you in a mo. Right then, palette cam is on. I'll briefly show you what I've got on my glass palette, which isn't much, so it'll only take a second this. I've got some light blue, which I've mixed with ultramarine blue and titanium white. I've got some grey, which I mixed with burnt umber and ultramarine blue, which I do every episode anyway. Look, you know, if you're new to the channel, you see what I do. And some titanium white, so I'm just going to add a bit of that titanium white just onto that grey to make a bit of a lighter tone. I might just add a bit of blue in there as well. So there we go, quite a nice colour. I'm going to leave the mediums out for now. I'm not going to put any linseed oil or zest it on just yet. I'm just going to leave it as it is. It's mostly, well, it's going to be all palette knife work really. But anyway, that's that, very short and sweet, and I'll get my main camera back on and I'll see you in just a second. Right then, let's get this party started. Let's have a think. Get my little triangular palette knife. As I say, part 1 and part 2 are linked in the description if you've got a burning desire to watch them. So I'll get my dark grey again, just go over where I went the other day. Just create another layer. Yeah, hope you're all keeping well and all that sort of business. Day off work today, so I thought I'd get on with doing my ship. I'm on call later on. But not on call till 5 o'clock, and it is now. That's what time it is. 1:15, so I've got bags of time to do some painting. So just build up these layers. I've been asked to do a mural on the wall of the ink gallery again. That'll be on Friday, which should be good fun. I was going to do a ghost ship, but I don't know, because it's Halloween coming up. I don't really like anything Halloweeny. Just got to try and enter into it as best as I can. Used to like Halloween as a kid, you know, dressing up and all that. But since then, I haven't really engaged in it. I like dressing up now, you know, I've dressed up as silly things since childhood, but it's been a while. So I've just built up those layers a bit. I'll get some lighter tone, use my slightly longer palette knife. Let's have a look. Might just get some light grey. Might add a bit more blue on it as well. Just plonk it there. Bit more grey. Oh, something funny happened yesterday. I like to keep my shoes polished with work and everything. And well, it's important because of the nature of the job I've got. So polish my shoes on Sunday evening, something like that, ready for work on Monday. So polish my shoes. And I thought, well, I'll put a layer of polish on, and I'll put some more on Monday morning because I had a bit of time. So you know, put my shoe polish away and everything for the morning, which is in a box. I've got a couple of brushes and shoe polish and a duster and all that palaver. And, you know, got up in the morning. I thought, you know, I'll get organised and I'm going to sort out my shoes now. So I got my shoes and I thought, right, I'll go to the cupboard, get my shoe polish. Couldn't bloody find it anywhere in the cupboard. Oh, what's going on here? So I searched everywhere, you know, the whole house for this bloody box of shoe polish and couldn't find it. What the hell? So I had to go to work with kind of not perfect shoes, which I don't like doing. And I thought it was very odd, but I'd forgotten all about it. And I got home and I went into the fridge and there was my box of shoe polish and everything. I put it all in the fridge. So yeah, my shoe polish and everything were quite cold by the time I got to it, after 18 hours in the fridge or whatever. So yeah, silly, senior moment. Right, I'll add some titanium white against this light grey. I'll start putting some little patches of light on the ship itself. Bear with me. Just dab it on. Not too much. The same with the day, it just gives the illusion of things going on. Now I can't actually draw ships. I can't paint ships. I can dab hand at painting blobs. So it's a series of blobs just fools the eye into thinking that it's a ship. Just blobs and shapes and scratches. And because I've left it to dry for 2 or 3 days, it's lowers the risk of it becoming muddy. You know, because you end up over mixing your paint, it just becomes a brown, horrible, sludgy mess. Put a few greys on here as well. But yeah, it is coming on quite nicely. I was going to apologise in advance for the dogs. They've been quite vocal today, but they're well behaved at the moment, which is good. I'm going to give my palette knife a quick wipe. A few more lights on here and there, just where I think there's going to be light. Get in there quite nicely. Right then, just go like that. Good stuff. So far, so good. Now then, this ship here. I was going to have that coming towards us as well, like that one, but I'm thinking perhaps have it moving round in the distance. I don't know, I'll have a quick 2-second think. No, I'll have it coming at us perhaps. Yeah, I'd have done well doing the distant ship first, and then this ship could go over the top of it, if you know what I mean. So I'm going to have a bit of a think. I might just have a slight gap between the two. I haven't quite got the courage yet to put a ship on in the background, because I've done it after doing this ship. It'll look like it's in the foreground, if you know what I mean, and it might destroy this one. So I'll have it in the distance, yeah, with a gap. So where's my measuring thing? I'm going to start marking it out with a palette knife and my proportions ruler. So part 2, you know, I briefly showed you how these things work. So I'm just getting the long ends, you know, the distance, just measuring the hull and then transferring onto the small bits, and it scales it down for you. I might go a bit bigger, so I'll just make a couple of adjustments. Bear with me, it's exciting, isn't it? Same again. Nice and wide hull, and just scratch in about there. Yeah, I've started getting the proportions right, and it works wonders. Just getting the scale sorted. What I'll do is this distant ship, I'll have it a bit higher up, you know, to suggest that it's in the distance. I don't want it down here, I don't think. Perhaps a bit higher up. We'll suck it and see. We'll see how things pan out. Let's measure it again, because there's that many scratches on this board, it's hard to know which is which. So there we go. 1 scratch, 2 scratch. I'll also get the height of the hull. Like I said last time, you know, you can scale things up with these and scale it down if you like, you know, you can do both. So just get the depth of that hull. About there, that's the limit. Another scratch. I'm not drawing, I'm just putting reference points on, just scratching. The height, it's got 2 guns just there. Big guns, or what I perceive as being guns. Goes about that high. Another scratch without knocking my pitch off the bloody palette, off the easel rather. So from that point, right the way up. You've got the bridge and the various other structures up there. And then the masts. I'll do, I'll do the whole setup actually. I keep doing it from that end because I'm so used to using that end, so I have to keep spinning it around, but never mind. So masts quite tall up there. So hopefully with those little reference points I'll be able to do a ship. So we'll do it. Right then. Onwards. I'll just get some of this dark grey. Start adding it on. Just to get the hull same as before. Same technique, which is none at all. Not having too much paint. Well, a slightly lighter grey for the left hand side. You know, I said I was going to do it higher up, didn't I? But never mind. I can still, put some white along there to make it look like a bit more distant. Just start building up the superstructure a bit. Like all my paintings, it looks like a bit of a mess to begin with, but it'll start to make sense. Might even have a coffee break just to, you know, take my time and not get my arms too tired. We'll carry on for now. It's all an illusion, it's all splodges, as I say. They've been quite well received, these battleships I'm doing. I'm quite an old-fashioned painter. Just using those little notches I made as guides. A few verticals on as well. Put something there. I'd have loved to have seen these big battleships in real life, you know. I often say to people I was born too late. Right, we'll have a quick coffee break. I mean, you don't have to, you can pause it whenever you want, but I'll literally be back in a couple of seconds because I'll just pause the recording very briefly. So yeah, we'll have a quick coffee break and I shall be back in a second. Right, I'm back in the room. I'll check all my cameras on. I'm armed with my coffee and Let me fall off my chair. And I'll carry on. Now, I've got a concrete floor here, but my chair, because I'm painting every day, it's worked a hole in my concrete floor and it keeps going by every time I go in the hole. But never mind. Carry on. I was saying last time about when I visited Battle of Jutland war graves and how moving it was. And the thing that struck me, now these war graves are up in the Orkney Islands, as I mentioned in the last video, and the thing that strikes you about the war graves, you know, it has row upon row of graves, and you know, all marked, all got names on them, what have you. Obviously there's no bodies there because they're all at the bottom of the North Sea. But the thing that you know that strikes you is the ages of the guys. You know, they're all teenagers and early 20s, but they're all stokers. Every last one of them, all stokers. I thought, how come the stokers? You know, because also it was in the days of coal, they'd be shoveling coal and everything else to keep the engines going, and they were the guys who were effectively locked down in the depths of the ship as they sank. And it's just a horrible thought. You know, they have no way of getting out. But you go along the line of graves and there's rows upon rows and you read them, and it starts with the service number, then the person's name, Royal Navy, age, stoker. It was all stoker. And there might be the odd engineer, stokers, gunner, stoker. It was all stokers. And a lot with the same name as well. You know, I'm just inventing a name out off my head, like George Anderson, Stephen Anderson, David Anderson. It was all a load of Andersons or a load of Wilsons, and you think, God, are these the same families as well? You know, potentially potentially brothers and sons and fathers dying together, and you know, like I said last time, they all died in the same day as well. You know, so a lot of them would have had lunch together, or well, I should say breakfast together, and served together. You know, so, it made me fill up. It really did. Right, get me palette knife again. We'll start building up these masts now. I'm just going to double check the height again so I don't go off on a tangent. There we go. Yeah, that's about right. Now, I'm going to measure that little bit there, halfway up, because I know halfway up there's this structure just here. So like a modern version of a crow's nest, I suppose. You know, for I don't know, sighting the guns and what have you. So I'll get that measured. In fact, do it the other way around. It's about there. Just scratch that in. Lovely. There we go. Right then. Quick wipe of the palette knife. And we're getting there quite nicely. So dark grey again. I'm going to try and mimic what's going on with this ship here. So there's a bit of a structure just there. And then that crow's nesty whatever thingy will just be about there. Don't have a proper term for it with me not being a naval man. You know, I've spent all my life reading up on the history of ships, but not necessarily the little bits, you know. Start reading up about little bits. And then that carries on to about that point there. There we go. Get my little palette knife again. just start adding the little bits, the cross beams just there. A bit more paint on maybe. And one there as well. Good stuff, we're gradually getting there. A few more bits of, well, I say a few more, I'll do some bits of gunnery. And as I said last time, you know, you look at World War One, pre-dreadnoughts and dreadnought battleships and everything, there just seemed to be massive guns. There were floating fortresses, these things were. That's why it caused such a big problem at Jutland, you know, the amount of ammunition they carried in the magazines, and a lot of the time the magazine would just go up and took the whole shit with it. Some interesting documentaries on the Battle of Jutland, and plenty of books and things out there. Right, we are getting there gradually. Just get my slightly longer palette knife again. Start putting a bit of lines and cables on like I've done here. We are gradually getting there, I'll keep saying it. When you start adding the little lines on, it starts looking really ship-like. The same with the guns, you know, those seem to be massive wires and lines. Very confusing really for a landlubber like me. I had the pleasure of going around HMS Plymouth, and I went round several times, and although HMS Plymouth was, I suppose, a 1960s ship that had served in the Falklands, so it's a modern ship compared to these, but it still gave you a good, well, a stark impression of what it must have been like. I used to go around a lot with my grandparents and everything when I was growing up, but as I got older, you know, really began to appreciate the history, and I had the absolute pleasure of going with a friend of mine who served on HMS Rothsay, I think it was, which was HMS Plymouth's sister ship. And you know, if you walk around a ship with someone who served, it's better than any guidebook. You know, it's just, he you know, could tell me all the bits, and I was asking him questions. But yeah, you walk around the ship, and there are these little plate-sized holes. They're only like a foot across, perhaps a little bit more. And well, it was like manhole covers all along the floor of the corridors, in this very tight, confined space on this frigate. And I asked him what these manhole covers were for. You know, all over the place they were. And you know, I always speculated what they were and everything like that. And I thought it was to flood the ship or something. You know, you could flood certain areas of it. But it wasn't. He said what they're for is their escape hatches. And I looked at him, because he's a big bloke, this guy towers above me. And escape hatches, how are you going to escape out of there? Because these holes are small, you know. I'd struggle getting in and out of them. And he said if the ship is hit, which during the Falklands it was hit by 2 or 3 bombs. He said if the ship's been hit and it's going down, you will get out of those holes. Oh, wow. And I suppose you would, you know, if your life depended on it, you would get through them holes, even if it meant breaking bones. So it really brought home, you know, the horrific nature of naval warfare, and it's just staggering, different world altogether. But you know, we were, you know, really chatty going there, and we went on the motorway and everything. He were chatting away, but the second we set foot on the ship, he just went very quiet. You know, he was in a different place. He was in his early 20s again. You know, because he could smell it all and hear it all and see it all, which I couldn't, because I hadn't served on bloody ship before. But yeah, it all came back to him. Well, amazing experience. So yeah, my friend Dickie, if you're watching, thank you. I'll never forget it. Right, let's put some lights on again with this ship, as we did with this one. Give me part knife a wipe. Slurp of coffee. Yeah, he was a fascinating man to listen to. He also took me around his training establishment, which was HMS Ganges, which is long gone now. You know, it was the Royal Navy School in, I think it was in Ipswich, I think. And he joined as a boy sailor. You know, he was only about 15 or 16 or whatever, and you know, conditions, you know, seemed diabolical. You know, what his training and everything like that. You know, to prepare him for a life at sea. So that was interesting, and it was all closed off and everything, and I think it was a bit of a building site then. And there was a bit of a museum as well, and he explained who he was. I was on HMS Rothsay and various other ships, and you know, they just greeted him with open arms, and we could access all areas pretty much. It was amazing. You know, if I showed up and said, you know, I just want to have a look around, I'll say, bugger off. So, lights going on. Yeah, if I just put on a bit of light in the distance, it'll look a bit higher. I might even go a bit taller with it. I'll have a think. I don't know. I'll have a think. We'll see. I'll carry on plodding on and see where it takes us. But we are getting there gradually. Yeah, I might go a bit higher with that bit there. Yeah, it looks more like a destroyer rather than a big thing like this, because of the hull being quite low down. So what I'll do with that in mind, just get my brush and find it, give it a quick clean, add some titanium white just there. It might give the impression that it's a bit further away. We shall see. Already it seemed to have helped. Just add the excess white just onto there. Yeah, that has helped a bit. I quite often go like that so I can get a different perspective of it. Right, what I might do, I might go a bit higher with everything. I'll have a think. I'll bring the hull out a bit bigger. Yeah, keep playing until I'm happy. So yeah, bring the hull out a bit more. Just makes the ship appear bigger, but still in the distance, if you know what I mean. Might even bring it right the way up. You know, that's better already. So what I'll do now is get my slightly longer palette knife, just bring them taller again. Yes, that looks better. That does look better. They don't have to be exactly the same because of course you have different classes of ship. That's my excuse anyway for not being able to paint very well. But yeah, it is a bit better. It looks a bit more imposing, you know. Just put that thingy there. Not bad. Quite pleased. Going to extend that hull out a bit more. Not looking bad. At least it has the appearance of a ship, if nothing else. Another bit just there, and there as well. But yeah, we are coming on reasonably nicely. Right, get my big thing. I love using this big palette knife. Snap the handle off, of course, but still does the job. Just add a few bits of lines and everything like that. Quite pleased. small palette knife again, let's give it a quick wipe. A bit of bluey grey. Could have fall off this chair one bloody day, I can see it coming. Bad habit. Again, where the thing's light, just plonk a bit on. That's coming on quite nicely. Same as here, I've got two crane structures there, you know, for lifting seaplanes and other boats and things. So I'll just put a couple of them on. One there, one there. There we go. Not looking bad at all. Yeah, I think we might be there for today's session. So yeah, I'm going to just leave that to settle again, I think, over a few days. I don't want to overdo it. So yeah, I think we are there for now. So thank you so much for watching. Don't forget, I've forgotten, so don't forget what I've forgotten. Oh yeah, I'm also on Facebook, Instagram and johnkid.co.uk. Don't forget to subscribe and like and share and comment. And if you want to get notificationated, hit the bell thing, wherever it is. But anyway, that's that. Let me know in the comments what you think. I might leave it as two ships, I think. So I'll have two ships. And next time I'm going to finish off the sea. And yeah, we are coming on quite nicely. Not looking too bad at all. So thank you so much for watching. It does mean a lot. Don't forget part 1 and part 2 in the description. And I will see you in the next video. Bye bye.